lot of credit, especially coming off back-to-back. They for sure looked like the team that was waiting on us here. The 18 second chance points, the 30 fast break points. I mean, that's crazy. And 55% from the floor, 52% from the 3-point line, 144 points. I give them a lot of credit. Joe Mazzulla kicked my behind on down, and all I can do is take my hat off to him.
I know it's a really good team over there too, but how surprising is to see 5 guys with 20 plus points?
I guess it's surprising. I didn't look at that. I guess I looked at everything else. There's a lot to look at, but I mean, again, they kicked our behind, so you just got to give them credit.
Yeah, the first half obviously kind of a track meet for you guys. I noticed that moment where you kind of blew up at them in the huddle, not closing out. Did that kind of set the tone, I guess, for what was to come in terms of not recognizing the perimeter defense?
Well, I've been with a lot of good teams, and I kind of went after them at that point, but sooner or later it has to come from within. They have to hold each other accountable for our play. I thought we had a group that we had out there with Keon and Malik and JaVale and HB and Trey. That was our best group. We actually competed, I thought, for a while on the defense end of the floor, and we didn't come up with 50-50 balls and stuff like that, and some things bounced their way, and they hit some threes when we did a pretty good job getting some stops. But besides that group being out there, I thought it was way too easy for Boston the whole night. And I mean, sooner or later, somebody's got to get tired of it and say something and look guys in the eyes and try to hold them accountable. That's what I tried to do, and it didn't work. And so we just traded baskets from that point on until they created some separation.
Mike, with Boston on a back-to-back, are you surprised that you gave up 30-point fast break points tonight?
Yeah.
Where do you think you went wrong on the fast break part?
We didn't do a good job of getting back. They played harder than us. They were more physical than us. They were helping us. And starting with me, I got to do a better job because you try to complain to the officials, but they're human. They're going to make mistakes, and it ain't going to change. And I think the more you complain, they're human. So that's the more they're going to try to call things against you. And so we gotta be grown-ups about it. I got to leave the officials alone, because when I start whining, everybody else seems like they start whining, and it's just a snowball effect. And if we're going to be the team that's supposed to be the physical group out there, then when we face physicality, we got to figure out a way to play through it and just try to play our game and not let it impact us on either end of the floor.
Mike, fast start for De'Aaron, obviously, and then I think only 3 field goal attempts in the second half. What did you see happening there? How did they limit what he was able to do as the game went on?
They were just physical. They got back in transition. They loaded the paint. They were very physical. The start of the game. I mean, it was the track meet. And, nobody was really playing defense, and then you could just see they just cranked it up. And like I said, I started complaining to the officials. We all started complaining to the officials, and they smelled blood, and they cranked it up even higher. And that probably had something to do with it.
Mike, you talked a lot about the gap between good and great,
Yeah.
and that gap seemed pretty wide tonight between your team and the Boston Celtics. I mean, what do you take away from that? Is this almost a necessary evil for a team to experience something like this to see what that difference is in real time?
For sure, because like I said, sooner or later it has to matter to the players. And I say this, I'll never forget. People talk about LeBron's greatness on the court. My first year in Cleveland, we were a show team back then. You could jump out and show, and they didn't shoot the three as much and some other things. And And we worked on that all summer when I got there. And then we worked on it all at training camp. And, we started out kind of slow my first year there. And I'll never forget, we were like 8 games in. And we were playing a home game. I can't remember who we were playing against. And we were just getting killed in the pick and roll. And so I called a timeout. And finally, I said, hey, look, what do you guys want to do? We tried showing, we tried switching. You want to drop? What do you want to? And before I could get another word out, LeBron, as a young player, he stepped into the huddle and he goes, excuse my French, but he goes, F that. We're an effing show team. We worked on it the whole training camp. You do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. Let's effing go. And I just stepped out the huddle. And from there, you go look at what our defensive rating was the next, the rest of that season and the next 4 years. And sooner or later, all the great teams, whether it's Draymond and Andre Iguodala in Golden State, or even Tim, Avery Johnson, other guys in San Antonio, every great team that I've been a part of, it's come from within at certain times, especially when you hit adversity. And so, we got to keep hitting adversity, and we got to keep trying to have it come from within and find a way to dig ourselves out of a hole like this by holding each other accountable throughout the course of the game. So, you got to go through this sometimes. Long-winded answer.
Yeah, Mike.